All right, everyone. This is Greg Viti with Real Estate Legends. I'm so excited to be here today with Mitch Zamost of All Jack Realty. Mitch is a Highland Parker, as I am. He's a few years younger than me, so I didn't get to know him for a while. Actually, till I sold him and his partner a building or two, and got to see how he handles things. And he manages over 500-600 properties and our units. And that's difficult. It's a lot of headaches, and we call it the headache division for a reason. But every time I've ever seen Mitch, he's always calm, cool, peaceful, and happy. And how do you do it, Mitch?
Well, it's I'm a pretty unconfrontational guy. So
Right.
when it comes to management, I like to nip things in the bud right away. I like to take care of things before people ask. So being a good property management company for me is acknowledgement and letting the people know we care.
I think the number one thing is answer your phone.
Yes.
Because there's something about when someone is mad about something or frustrated and they call and there's nothing back. If they have to call the second time, they're getting mad. By the third time, they probably dislike you.
Absolutely.
But let's say I've never started where we just started talking business because I think that I know that you had a very good raising. You had great parents.
Yeah.
You had great siblings. Why don't you give us a little lowdown on your family?
Well,
dynamics?
I'm a Highland Parker, and which I'm very proud of.
We all bleed blue.
Yes.
Blue and white.
Highland
the
Park Giant
Giants.
forever. We moved there in the early 70s. My dad was in the construction building business. And I have 5 brothers, 6 boys total.
Wow.
Which is
So you had a basketball team.
which is great. And I had very loving, great family dynamic, and loved growing up where I did. And with a lot of love and a lot of knowledge that I wasn't going to get anything from my parents other than love. So I was going to have to make it on my own.
And you got into the tool business? Was that related to your dad's business?
Went to Arizona State.
Okay.
Left in the mid '80s and came home and did a few jobs. Opened up at the Bevex in Deerfield, which is a fun experience. And then I was dating a girl whose family was involved in the used metalworking equipment business, and taught me how to buy and sell used metalworking machinery and fabricating equipment. Did shears, brakes, presses, did liquidations, one-off equipment when was surplus to the needs.
What a different niche that is.
Very interesting niche. It taught me how to you make your money in the buy and you sell, and it was quick. So I always had that energy to.
Oh, so you learned that buy low, sell high kind of thing.
Yes.
That's good. And so did that also get you like a CRM where you're figuring out who's who?
No, it happened. Real estate happened kind of strange. My father called me one day and he said, there's a building in Humboldt Park at 3031 West Armitage, a 15-unit, 2-storefront building. I was 26. He says we could buy it for $190,000. It's distressed. And he wasn't involved in real estate other than the building. And I said, let's go look at it. So it was such a big cash flow. I was like, terrific, I'll try it. And with my other brothers. Meanwhile,
So how many guys? You and how many partners?
It was 2 other my two other brothers and my dad. They already lived in the suburbs. So I took control. I met all the tenants. Nobody spoke much English at the time, but it didn't matter. I was able
Sign
to
language?
collect rent. I was able to handle handle the maintenance, and kind of jumped right in.
That's a great. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And you're not going to learn it if you don't try it. And you're not going to learn it by other people telling you. You have to actually experience it.
No question about it. And
so did you do a big rehab on that?
So no, I do nothing about it. It turned out that the building had a fire. And,
great.
We cleared everything out, and we ended up making a few bucks, and we moved on. And
how long did you own this?
I probably owned it 4 years.
Okay.
And right about then, after that, I moved to Bucktown, which was a very exciting area at the time, but kind of no one knew where it was going.
Edgy.
And one day, I was driving around and with my father, and I was renting an apartment, and some guy built one single-family home on the 1800 block of Wilmot,
Okay.
And I looked at it, and we.
I sold you that one.
JoJo.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Paul Pingle?
Paul Pingle.
Unbelievable. See,
Wow.
folks, so my videographer
That's
is
it.
Joe Cortana. He worked with,
I
we
knew
worked
you
together at
knew
Remax
somewhere.
for a long time.
You and your wife.
He had the
bought
listing when
construction, or we were-
Mitch
Correct.
bought the building.
And Paul was working with, yeah.
I wanted to buy the other. He sold the first one to Mario Spirka, and then he built
That's right.
the next one, mine, and then he built the other one for my Frank Louisa, the long.
Yeah, Frankie.
Frankie
and
Luann.
Luann.
Right.
And they got divorced.
Right.
Oh.
So I'm
Love
in this
Frankie.
house, and I had no money. I borrowed everything I could.
I
bought
remember that.
$192,000, and one day there's a factory on the whole other side of the street. I get a knock on the door. They said, "Can I help you?" This guy named George, Papa George,
Oh, yeah.
and he says,
Famous architect.
He says he's a famous architect. He says, "I'm an architect in Chicago. I live in the neighborhood. I'm really high in it. I'm buying the factory across the street. Would you sign something that we'd like to get it moving and going along?" And I said, "Not only will I sign it, I'll help you." So I went door to door with him, and I happened to stumble on a vacant lot on Wilmot, talking to this woman, and she's like, "I'd like to sell it. I'd like to get $35,000 for it." And I said,
I'll give you 40.
and I said, "Well, I don't know much about it. I own this thing. I'm not, and I ended up calling my dad, calling my friend, calling my lawyer, Steve DeGraff,
That's how it started.
who was one of my friends from growing up. And I said, I want to buy this lot in this area called Bucktown. He's like, "Nobody's going to want to live there.
It sounds just like him."
Poo-pooing it. And I said, well, I want to do it.
What year was this?
So this was 1993.
Okay.
And the lawyer for the seller was Sheila Kalish, another Highland Parker. And so I bought it. And I then took that lot, and pre-construction of his place, to everyone's buzz, I sold the lot for $80,000.
Nice.
So I made $50,000, and I thought I was the smartest guy in the world. And then I said to Steve, I said, I think this is about to pop here. So we bought 1800 Wilmot, a house and a lot. We sold that. We then bought a building on Shakespeare, and that's where it began.
That is so
really,
fun. I was always wondering how you and DeGraff got together. You guys are just enough younger than me that I really didn't know you guys growing up. Michael Morton was DeGraff's partner,
his brother's
partner, and so I got to know his brother. I had a surprise party for my wife at their place, but I went to Menards one day, and Steve's walking in, and I knew him by then because I worked at Kennigan Stray with Art, and all those guys were putting so many deals through Steve. I mean,
Right.
This guy, I don't know how he slept. He had about 300 transactions going at all times. But I saw him, and I said, "Hey man, I got a great one in Lincoln Square for you." He goes, "Let's go see it right now."
Yep.
And so that was a fun conversation because he was like, "Well, I think I'm just gonna, spit and polish this one." I said, "Steve, you've been doing this too long, and you're too smart, and you work with Arturo.
Right.
You need to gut this whole damn place out, and you got to do this right. Then you know what you got."
Yeah.
And I remember him calling me back on Viti. "I'm so glad you pushed me to renovate it." And then I think I sold you guys of my favorite deals because, like, Steve had bought a lot of properties
Right.
by the time.
No, we were.
Well, and things were really bad, and a lot of things were going to foreclosure and things. And I called DeGraff and I said, "Listen, man, I got one for you." He's like, "Why me?" I said, "Because you got the money to close on this thing. You're gonna have to come up with like $350,000 within 3 days." He goes, "Okay, what do I have to do?" I said, "Get a cashier's check for $100,000, and I'm gonna meet you out front of your office." And he comes out of his office. He's all nervous and excited with that check. He doesn't know what to do. And we get into there, and I said, "Listen, there are going to be a lot of people in there, and you're going to think they're all competing. They're not. They're all pros. They're just going to. I've been to a lot of these." And we came down to it was just us and one other person bidding, and they started low, and Steve just went like 20 grand up, and the guy just stopped. And then I found out it was my neighbor that I lived in Bucktown on Churchill. It was my neighbor,
I
Jimmy
believe that's
McCreek.
4849 North Sealy.
Yes, 4849 Sealy. And then the best part of the story is, Steve tells me, Yeah, Greg, that was such a great sale that I went over there that afternoon just to look at it. And, you know, you really don't know what the inside's like, but you have an idea. So we knew there was a couple of things that needed to be done. And he got it for like 360,000. So it's on a wide lot in Lincoln Square, so you know it's a home run.
Right.
So the neighbor comes out and says, Steve, what are you doing here? And then Steve's like, well, that's one of my best clients. He said, I just bought this building. He goes, I don't know what you paid, but I'll pay $550 for it right now.
No doubt.
Steve's like, no thanks.
That was the first time we had ever done it was an auction. It was a foreclosure.
Yeah.
And he said one guy showed up.
Well, there was really, it was us and the one other guy.
Yeah.
And, but there was a lot of people in the room. And so it's been a lot of fun to see your evolution. And one, I always think that partnerships are a great thing if both partners are giving something.
No.
And with the Graf, he's way too busy and he doesn't have the right temperament to manage a building.
Correct.
There's no way.
Correct.
But you are so calm and organized and focused on the way you approach your clients, your business. You guys are like two peas in a pod.
You know, Aljac has always had one common denominator. We're large enough to serve you and small enough to care.
Right.
And that's the Aljac way. You know, I had tenants right off the bat, and you know, I know what it's like to spend a lot of money to rent, and you feel like a number, and you feel like a nobody, and you're calling a number, and you're leaving a message. You know, my philosophy was that acknowledgement, quick response time, let them know we care, and they'll always try to come back to us in the future. They may come into Aljac and say, you know, this unit is too expensive, or this unit is too small, or doesn't have a dining room, but they'll never say it's a shithole. They'll never say look at reviews and we're bad management. It means a lot to me. Steve and I are good partners because he handles all the behind the scenes, the acquisition part of it, and I handle all the day-to-day.
Well, and that's what I realized when I was talking to you about it. I'm like, these two guys really stay in their lanes like you really taught to.
Yeah.
And I'm a control freak, so I have a hard time doing that. You know, I love every aspect, but I think it's really smart the way you've done that. And so, right now, like, I know that you were making a move to try to go to bigger buildings, maybe sell some of the smaller ones and go to bigger ones. Has that been happening? Or?
You know, I have a love for center entrance six flats. I have, we've bought a few 12-unit buildings. I will not buy anything that we can't touch or feel and drive to. We try to buy at Main Street and Main Street, and we'll pay up because you'll never go bad in a down market if you have top locations. As far as the big and larger acquisitions, I think that's in the future. I think that could still be part of us and still go on.
And so now you've also moved into the financing realm.
Yes. So a few years ago, we partnered with a guy named Alex Picios, and we created Aleco Capital, which is more of the financing end of it.
So you tell me if this is right. This was the story that I heard, that Steve, that the movies, they owed Steve about $150,000 in legal fees, and the guy was really hurting. And he came in to see the Graf, and Steve basically said, you know what, we're going to take this and we're going to tear it up for future considerations. And then the future considerations was, once he sold it for over $1 billion, you guys could be partners with them.
Correct. That's really the way it turned out.
What a beautiful story.
The day the business closed for this gentleman, Alex, we were all waiting and exciting, and he had invested in a few of our properties, a few here or there, about 4 of them. And basically, he walked into a room of people, and everyone was congratulating him on the sale. And he said, my lawyer 12 years ago tore up my bill, and he looked right at him. He goes, DeGraff, you bet on the right horse.
How great is that?
And he goes, Zamost and DeGraff, let's do some great things. So
what a great partner to have.
Yeah. So now we've been acquiring probably about 8 to 9 buildings in the last 4 years, and we're up to almost about 50 units, 50 buildings.
So not to get too technical on it, but what software do you use?
We use Buildium.
Oh, you do?
Buildium is really, I mean,
I like Buildium. It's hard to figure out.
No question.
Once you do figure it out, it's phenomenal.
2 years ago, we're at spreadsheets and Excels, and and Zelle payments to we're now fully automated. We've got an incredible system. We figured it out. It's got a great portal to pay rent through. You can access your, all your lease, your
Leases.
maintenance. You could see. They could text us through the system to get quick response. It's everything the Aljab way is.
And so how many engineers?
We have 3 people, running it. And, I've figured it out now. Now it's, I get turned on that I could actually figure it out. It's
And
pretty
so do
amazing.
you sub out, so you probably sub out cleaning?
We have a crew. We have a management crew of cleaning crew and maintenance crew and rehab. Whether that's a small one-off, we use this group, and if it's a large 20-unit building, we're doing a deal now at 3834 Wilton, a 20-unit that we're completely doing a lot of work in rehabbing every unit. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're able to hit on so many different things where you can just go into an apartment and pretty quick size it up. Oh, this could be a 2-bedroom because of this, this, and this. Oh, this heating could go away and we could do this, 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 and this. That's
Yeah.
where this really gets
Oh,
exciting.
we've done a lot of testing this past year with regards to what our tenants want. They want in-unit laundry. They want granite. They want new hardwood floors and kitchen cabinets, but they will do without brand new HVAC. They'd rather have washer dryer in their unit. That's more important. So we bought a big building on the 1400 block of Winnemac, which was a boiler building and had no laundry
dryer.
unit. They had a great laundry room, which was really nice, free. There was like 6 of them, and we decided to do a little test run. These units are 1,600 square feet. Let's put kitchens and baths in, and that's it. Let's see how it works out. Well, it turned out that the size of the units deemed people to pay up for the units without washer and dryer and without HVAC.
Well, and if you have it right there for them.
Right, exactly.
I feel like when I was buying, I wanted outdoor space, washer and dryer in my unit, and I wanted to own the parking space. I bought a place without outdoor space, no washer and dryer in the unit, and I rent the parking. But what I learned was, and I got reminded, if you go downstairs and do 3 loads at once, that beats the shit out of doing it one at a time. I used to have a single family house. It would take me 4.5 hours to do the laundry if I was going to do
No
3
doubt
loads.
about it. But my key is to make that laundry room nice and presentable and warm and not a freezing basement and some shithole with cobwebs.
I was just explaining to a client. I just sold a 20 flat, and they already put all the plumbing and everything out. And I was telling his client, his contractor, see how this floor is uneven? There's great epoxy now. You can level this floor
Right.
and make it beautiful. He's like, oh, I want to put tiles. I said, like ceramic tile? Because those are going to crack or
Right.
whatever. Are you going to put vinyl tile? Because I don't think that's going to look near as good as this. And then I was trying to explain to him the other things I would do, and he was not arguing with me, but he's old school.
Right.
Where I'm older, but I'm new school. I like things to be, like you said, warm, inviting.
Absolutely.
Make it really sweet, and people can appreciate that. Because if you do it once wrong, it's wrong
Oh.
until you do it right.
The entire time you have a tenant, it's, what have you done for me lately? So if you forget about them or you blow off a maintenance call, or they, with the new laws in Chicago, with the 120-day notification prior to their lease expiring, you've got now this window that you have to perform, because they're going to start looking and they're going to go to your competitor.
Well, and I feel like, too, little things become big things. If you don't ever vacuum the halls, or you don't fix the light that's out, and those sounds like stupid things, that can ruin a tenancy.
No
And
question. about it.
that tenant moves out, you probably have to paint it. You probably have to market it. You probably have to lose a month. So all of a sudden it becomes a very expensive proposition. So tenant retention becomes especially when you have a lot of buildings like you
No
do
doubt.
and a lot of units, that becomes a huge equation in whether you're going to be profitable or not.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't see that.
Well, I do, and that's why we're a boots on the ground kind of company. Saturdays, I'm out, I'm driving around, I'm looking for garbage, I'm seeing if lights are out in vestibules, and at night I'll go after when it gets dark to see, because a tenant will call up and they'll be like, the hallway light's been out for 2 weeks and nobody's changing. I'm like, well, you didn't let us know. We'd be happy to do it right away. No problem. We're there. A minute. and they like to stay. They like to be acknowledged tenants, and they deserve it.
They do deserve it.
Yeah.
They're paying your mortgage.
And the rents here in Chicago are increasing dramatically over the past 3 years.
It's sad that it has to,
Yeah.
but the taxes are increasing.
Exactly.
The utilities are increasing. The insurance is going through the roof. The insurance is 35 to 50% more.
No doubt.
And so we have this, and I think this comes almost every podcast I do now. We start talking about the frustrations of the affordable is unaffordable, and just all the different things that owners have against them. Terrible tenant landlord ordinance.
Yes.
I don't know why they can't make that more fair, and I don't know why judges have to be so to the book. Oh, you didn't put a T or there or whatever. Like, they know if someone's a bad apple, and they
Correct.
should take the bad apples out.
I agree.
So, what else do you do when you're, other than background checks and credit?
Mhm.
What do you do to assure that you have the right tenants? 'Cause
Well, we make sure we meet everybody, and as the final decision maker, I'm not all about numbers and credit numbers and whatnot. Of a legitimate kid who's 26, 27 years old has weak credit because hasn't paid a few of his student loans that he owes $250,000 on,
yeah,
or he made a bad decision and was late on his ComEd bill when he was 24 and now his credit's lower. I take his personality, who he is and where he is today, and try to meet the tenant and make a decision like, you're a good person. I could see. I'm not gonna.
I haven't managed near as many units as you have, but I know the only bad tenants I ever have are ones I inherited.
Mhm.
If I put them in and interviewed them and got on the same page as a team member with them, that usually did it. But I do think it's rough that you could miss one
Oh, for
payment
sure.
on something, and it
Oh,
could
right.
ding your credit 100
Yes.
points.
Yes.
Like,
I agree. I've
Yeah.
been bamboozled. I've had people who I trusted and took advantage of the situation. And, I'm very simple. If you're going to be late on rent or you're going to have an issue, just call and communicate. I have no problem making it better. When COVID came, everybody was frantic and freaked out and scared. My roommate, we paid $2,500. My roommate pays half. He had to move home. He lost his job. I'll just say, take a deep breath.
right.
I got you. We'll take the money that's owed, we'll put it on the back end, pay what you can right now. And our retention levels were off the charts.
That's so great to hear.
Gotta be human.
Yeah, you got to be human, and I just feel like we have so many smart business people in Chicago, and I hope that leadership can figure out how to get to some of the people who do it day in and day out. Like, some of the legislation that's gone through, when you read it, you're like, there's no way this isn't really like. And then they didn't even they put this crazy legislations in, and they didn't even put anybody in to
I know.
handle it.
I know. It's nuts. And that's what I have to graph for. He could read those.
Well, and that's
That's
where
why we're a good partnership.
exactly like, and I feel that same way with some of the people that I work around. Like, we should all work to our strengths,
Yes.
right? So, you're a White Sox fan,
Oh, yes.
and I
Right.
noticed you go to the games a lot.
Yes.
So, you bought season tickets.
I'm a 34-year.
Only
season
34
ticket.
years. So
34 years.
At least that's at least 41 games a year.
Lots of suffering, but, it's always next year. That's the way we are in Chicago.
That's all we are.
I mean, look what we just experienced on Sunday. A whole city of excitement.
Oh my God.
40 years ago, we
Right.
won. Okay.
Well, you know what? I think the Bears. You got to give Bears credit because we've been hating on the McCaskies for the last 25 years,
yes.
and even like the '85 Bears, the way Ditka handled himself, he was a great coach, but he just made it all commercial. He was on commercial here, commercial there, and it just they lost all their stuff. Like Ben Johnson, that guy is like on it, and I feel like he made some mistakes. I mean, he should have kicked field goals when he did and stuff, but you know what? He has those guys working at a different level.
No question.
And then you got to give Ryan Poles and those guys credit for.
Look at I was
shoring
watching
up
an article. I mean, a TV show the other day. I mean, Caleb Williams. They had people before he was drafted. Lined up at Hallis Hall chanting, "We keep Justin, keep Justin," and we realized we got a generational guy that came in. His first year, he had a coach that was a lame duck coach, Yeah, and
And
Johnson is just.
and he had 2.4 seconds
Yeah.
to throw the ball.
I'm
No one can throw the ball
Yeah.
well if you only have 2.4 seconds.
very excited for
So-
the Bear, but I'm very excited about the 2026 White Sox.
So let's talk about that. I know that you're watching it closer than me. This Japanese gentleman that we
Yeah,
have. What-
Murakami. He was stud in Japan. He had 56 home runs or something in like 23. He played for the world team in the tournament that they do. And I think it's a big upside for what they paid him.
What's he
Short term.
paid? What's he
They
paid?
paid him $17.5 million for a year for 2 years.
But what's he play?
Short term. Oh, he's a first baseman, DH.
Okay,
has played
good.
third base. He's just what the Sox needed in this rebuild.
Well, and I feel like Montgomery is he looks like a true.
We've got some wonderfully
superstar.
great young, talented players. We traded Crochet. We got a Hall back and Kyle Teal and this other kid, Braden Montgomery, they're about to bring up. He was the key piece. He had won the College World Series the year before, broke his ankle in the World Series. He was supposed to be top 3 picks. He slid to number 12
And we
with
got
a
him.
broken ankle, and then we got him.
Nice.
And very, I'm excited for the future, but I don't get too excited.
Well, Mitch is so nice that he texts me and says, "Hey, Greg, you want to go to the game?"
He's my number one guy. I don't know, because I know he'll go. A lot of people won't go.
Well,
I
if
like
I
the-
wanted to see my parents, I had to go to White Sox Park because they would go to like 36 games a year.
Right.
And my mother was such a character that she convinced the head of beer sales to give us free beers for like 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And some of my friends wouldn't believe it. And then I bring them and they say, "Wow, we got 6 free beers." Yeah.
That's what I like about you most, your Sox love.
Well,
Your commitment and
what
Highland
else,
Park Giants.
what else should we talk about now, before we end this?
Well, what else could we talk about? Neighborhoods. I do want to say that Andersonville, in some of these neighborhoods that have Bucktown is still solid for us. We're heavy in Andersonville.
I love so many of these. How about Ravenswood?
Ravens.
You just drive there, and you're like,
You know,
where is this? Is unbelievable.
Here's how I look at it. Every single neighborhood has shit within a mile of it. Even Bucktown has, rougher areas.
And they're coming up, though.
And they're coming up. But Andersonville and that area in Ravenswood, you've got Anderson, Ravenswood, you've got Wrigleyville, Lincoln
Edgewater.
Square, Edgewater.
Uptown.
You've got all these incredible neighborhoods on the north side of that are just exploding.
Just think, like, when I first got down, it was the 80s. Like, Uptown was the only place you could buy a six-flat for like $250 to $300.
Right. And the units were gigantic.
But you were risking your life going there. You feel scared. Where
Right.
I don't know, something's happening to me. I don't feel scared in any Chicago neighborhood.
Absolutely
right
not.
now. And they're
couldn't agree
really
more.
going up. So, do you guys own anything in Rogers Park?
No, we haven't ventured out to Rogers Park just because there's, renters can
Long
be
way.
so fickle there. There's like multi-unit building, one after another, gigantic, and it's just, we haven't.
You still have
ventured into-
Bucktown?
We've got 6, 7 buildings in Bucktown.
Wicker Park?
Nothing in Wicker.
How
Logan.
about Westtown?
No.
Humboldt Park?
Not since my first building I bought at 20.
Logan Square?
Yes, we're heavy in Logan.
How about Avondale?
Avondale, we've owned one property there. We just jumped into the Wrigleyville neighborhood. We hadn't been there at all. We bought 1040 West School. We bought
Nice.
3834 Wilton. We own some East Lakeview. That building, turned into one of the best buildings we have, which was on a complete fluke. Steve calls me one morning and he says, I'm looking in the newspaper and there's this tiny little blurb that says 525 West Berry is in foreclosure and is going up for sale.
Wow.
And we had never done it before. We had evaluated the building and I went through it. It was in receivership. I didn't know the area really well at all. It was an absolute shithole.
Great location, also close to the lake.
Went in and Steve said, we talked about it and we're like, well, let's go to this sale and we could probably go up to 4.2 million. It's like 16, 17 units and we're like, okay, let's go. So we go into this big boardroom and there's 3 banks and there's and There's one guy shows up and Al Jack Investments, and we're like, okay.
Okay, 3.8.
Let's start this thing at 3.1 million,
Perfect.
and we'll go up $10,000 increments instead of 100 and what they were doing, and we just sit there and the auctioneer's like 3.2, and we're like Al Jack 3.25, 3.25. Sold to Al Jack Investments.
Nice.
3.25. Steve and I looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, what just happened?
We just made $1 million bucks.
We just hugged each other. We went into another room. We were like, now we got to come up with the money, and it happened, and it was just a great story of
Oh, I love it.
of just showing up, going to the sales, talking. There isn't an agent I don't take a call from. I know how hard it is to cold call. I know how hard it is to find listings.
To find a really good
Right.
off-market, add value, multifamily.
Yes. So when
is
somebody
like
calls
finding
me,
gold.
I'm honored. I'm thrilled.
Exactly.
I respect that. So I jump in cars and I look at everything I could look at, because you never know when no one's going to show up.
Isn't that a great story?
Right.
Well,
so-
when I first started real estate, it was in Lakeview, and I knocked on the majority of Lakeview homes, all like from the blocks of like between Halstead and Ashland, between Diversey to Irving Park. I tried to knock on every door, and I was nuts. And then if people would call me as a buyer's agent, and they would want someplace else, I'd end up bringing it back to Lakeview.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't really want this? This
Right.
is the best place in the world. I was just so convinced it was just the greatest place in the world. And I'll never forget when I was supposed to get this great listing in Wicker Park. And I was like two and a half years into real estate. It was this beautiful Victorian. And I went to Lee Harris and said, Lee, I want to get this, but they're just going to go at 5%. And he started telling me, you have to tell them why you're worth 6. I said, can't I just take it for 5? I love this building.
Right.
And they wanted me. So I had to lose the listing. It sold in 2 days to the realtor that got it, sold to his own buyer. And I was like, I'm not long for this Lee Harris thing.
It's hard. It's a punch to the stomach for even as a buyer when you
Well,
lose something and you want it.
It's a humbling business, but it's such an exciting
Yeah.
business. And like, you're going to take your lumps, but you're going to do really well if you stay in it. And,
Absolutely.
And you're going to get to know so many great people.
Al Jack, we just sold our first building in 25 years. We
Wow.
never sold. And,
That's the trick, folks.
I would say to Steve, listen, man, I need to pay for day camp. I need to pay for overnight camp. He'd say, don't make your problems my problems.
Oh,
He's like,
God.
You got this. We'll get through it, because when you want to live the most in your 60s and 70s, we're going to have these buildings. And we have stuck to our guns, and we moved our first property this past couple weeks ago.
Well, my dad's best buddy, Mr. Squirmahorn, would always say, you buy the building, you fight, you work, you play beat the bank. And how you beat the bank is you pay that mortgage
Right.
off,
Exactly.
and then you've won.
Exactly.
So I know you guys have beat the bank on a lot of these
we have.
things.
No doubt
And
about
I'm
it.
proud of you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Okay, Mitch, I think it's time to say this is Greg Viti from Real Estate Legends. Happy to be here with Mitch Zamost of All Jack. And his partner Steve DeGraff was right here with us in spirit. God bless everybody, and thank you for listening.
Thanks.
All right, man.
All right, man.